I am no dirt bike coach, nor am I here to teach you how to do a drill or a technique on your dirt bike, but what I am here for is to share my experiences that I have learned through my journey of being a dirt bike rider. Now, you clicked on this video because you want to learn how to do a static balance, and you might be frustrated because you keep seeing all over the internets of others and they might be able to do a static balance on their dirt bike, and you're just wondering how. What are they doing that I can't figure out? What if I told you it's a lot easier to do with the type of surface that you're practicing your static balance? And this is what this video is all about, is finding the right surface, the ground surface, to do your static balance. If you haven't met yet, hey, I'm Angelisa, and I love to share my experiences and my passions while being a beginner dirt bike rider. So let's get into the video. So earlier this year, I challenged myself to do a 30-day static balance challenge on my dirt bike. It was in the middle of January, start of January, and I created a whole playlist, so you can check that out over here or over here after this video. And I wanted to challenge myself to get better at doing this static balance drill. I posted each day on my TikTok and my YouTube shorts, and I had a lot of you asking for a tutorial on how to do the static balance, which I'm very flattered, but again, I'm not a dirt bike coach, but what I am is I'm gonna show you what I've learned and how I do my static balance drill, and I think that it could help you in the long run. So let's start off with what you need to do a static balance drill on your dirt bike. Number one is your dirt bike, 2 good supportive shoes or your dirt bike boots, a couple of rocks, and space with a small slope or divot, preferably on grass. Depending on where you are doing this drill, I highly recommend starting on grass. It's way more forgiving if you do drop your bike, because let's face it, it's gonna happen when you start out doing your static balance drill. So my biggest tip is to find a slope, because it's actually going to be easier to do your static balance while on an incline. There's many reasons for it, and I actually got this tip from Sam King when I took his clinic, and this has helped me huge and made me realize that there is way more to it, to a static balance drill, and making sure you set yourself up for success rather than fighting something that's just not working. So find a small incline, a hole or a divot, if there is any, at the ground level or whatever area that you're working on doing the static balance drill. So I found my hill, I found my little incline. I do have a slight down slope from the pavement here into the lawn. So I put my front tire down, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start moving my tire back and forth. So that way I create even more of a hole. And this way, my tire is a little bit more secure. To go a step further in securing my dirt bike, I add a rock in front of my tire to help support my bike. This also gives me a lot of control in standing and balancing. So if you're not able to mess up your lawn, using a rock or a couple of rocks to surround your tire is a great option. I always start with my front tire pointing to the left, so that means I need to lock my bars. The reason why I start with my front tire to the left is so that I can leave my right foot on the back brake. Using your brakes will help compress your bike to feel more grounded in this drill. I actually squeeze my clutch lever as well for that extra measure. One thing I do want to note is to find a focal point that you can stare at while you're doing your balance drill. You can add a rock or anything that catches your eye. For me, it's that yellow dandelion that you see right there. Rich Larsen also has a whole video series about this drill, and he goes more into depth, so you can check that out too. I just want to share what I've done since so many of you had asked me. In the beginning of my journey of the static balance drill, I started out with standing and then dropping my left foot back on the ground. This way I got used to balancing and made sure my leg was feeling strong enough to catch me if I did lose my balance. If you didn't know, I have a very weak left knee with no ACL, and I don't feel confident without my knee brace on. So if you have weak knees as well, I recommend gearing up to do this balance, and eventually you can wear whatever you want once you build your foundation with balancing. to push myself up, I use my back brake along with squeezing both front brake and clutch lever, and I slowly lift myself up into a standing position. For this, I actually use my arms to push up, and I put a little extra weight on the left arm to counter the weight I'm using on the right peg, since that's where most of my weight is coming from. Do this a few times, push on your arms, weighting your left arm as you push with your right foot on the peg. Now this does require patience, see where your weight is going, and then counteract with the weight, the opposite weight. So again, for me, weighting on my right peg, I have to counter with weighting my left arm on the left side of the bar. So this is where it takes time and patience. If you have 15 minutes, hop on your bike. When I first started balancing on my dirt bike, I took an hour to practice, and I did that for a solid week straight. So if these tips aren't working for you, you'll need to spend time to figure out where your weight is to get you balancing. All of my weight and my power is in my butt, in my booty, and my legs. I have a weaker upper body, so I really need to focus on weighting my bars and the front of my bike as I come up. Depending on the angle of my bike, I sometimes try to come up so that my upper body is over top of the bars when I first stand up. So once you find your groove and your balance, challenge yourself to hold it for as long as you can, and then you can start to challenge yourself by letting go of the bars, sticking your leg out, and even standing on it. It honestly is such a fun drill to do for me. It really has helped me get into my Zen and my meditation mode. Once I felt comfortable with my balancing, I started challenging myself with different angles of my front tire. I practiced fully locked, 90-degree angles, a straight tire, and I also practice with my tire facing to the right. There are so many challenging aspects to this drill if you're willing to challenge yourself in different ways.
No hands, standing on my seat, incredible. Now, I'm only able to do this because there is snow, okay? It's helping sturdy up my bike. No, I don't have rocks around it. It's just the snow and the slush. It is raining. I have grip. So again, it's a bit of a cheat day, but that's okay. That's still balance of me getting up.
Oh, I am sweaty. Doing a static balance drill requires a lot of core strength, and you will get a workout in, I guarantee it. Since I've been practicing the static balance drill on my dirt bike, I have found doing slow moving drills to be so much easier because I have my core strength built up, and it's all because I spend time doing this drill. This drill has so many benefits to it, and I believe that it is a skill that every single dirt bike rider needs to build up to gain confidence. And once you feel comfortable and confident while balancing, start to remove your rock and balance again. Once you feel good with that, then you can move onto a flatter surface, start on the ground, flat ground, and start balancing there. And once you gain your confidence on the ground and without a rock in front of your tire, then you can move on to gravel, and then you can move on to the hardest one yet, which I have not mastered, which is concrete. Doing on concrete for me is just really hard, and so I need to continue practicing that one. And just a bonus tip, if you don't have good balance to start with, I highly recommend getting a Bosu ball or an Indu board. I have a Bosu ball at home here, and I know the gyms have one if you go to a gym, and that is something that I have always done since I was younger. When I was snowboard training, I would always hop on my Indo board and I would study while balancing, and I got to a point where I was able to do 360s, 180s on my Indo board because I was getting so comfortable with my balance. This is where I believe I built a lot of my core strength, is when I was younger, training for snowboarding. If you haven't learned yet by watching some of my videos, I sure do love a challenge, and I am kind of weird this way where I hyper focus on a challenge and I continue doing it until I somewhat master it for myself. And at the end of the day, all of this should be fun. This should not be challenging. If you're getting frustrated and if you're just purely not having fun doing these drills, then I say go for a ride, go for a burn, and come back to it when you're mentally ready. And I am so hot and I'm so sweaty. And I've dropped a couple of names in this video, but I want to highlight the ones that gave me the encouragement, the inspiration to do static balance, and that is Crystal Loves Moto and Megs Braap. When I first got into dirt bike riding, I saw them doing their balance drills. This was back in maybe 2016, 2017, and they inspired me to do static balance drills. So just want to give them a big shout out, because if it wasn't for those legends, you know, none of us would be practicing these drills to this day. So thanks to those ladies. And let me know if you'd be interested in doing another 30-day static balance challenge. I know I love challenges, so drop a comment down below and say heck yeah or heck yes. And I'll connect with you, because I think it is so much fun, and it's way more fun to have an accountability partner to do these things with, just to push ourselves and to motivate ourselves, because it's so easy to not be motivated to do these drills. A lot of people don't find them a lot of fun, and I do, which is the exact opposite of most people. But yeah, so if you want an accountability partner, I would love to be yours. Anyways, that's all that I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you learned a few tricks and tips that will help with your static balance drill on your dirt bike. And I'll catch you on the next video. Okay, bye guys.